Radio. I am Raleigh Culp, and I'm here as usual with Bob Gilpatrick.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Raleigh.
How you doing, bud?
Good, man. That looks like a cool watch or compass that you got on there today.
So check this thing out. Chrissy got this off, Chrissy.
Yeah.
Our multimedia, social media marketing expert is always finding free stuff. Yeah. And this is one of the cool things she found. It's a compass, and it works. I verified that it works. It's actually fairly accurate. And it was weird. it's got this paracord. So if I ever get lost in the woods here in the swamps of Florida, I'll be able to get out and have something to pull on, something.
Oh, yeah.
But
gotta have paracord in Florida.
I didn't realize what this was until my daughter and her friend, we took them to the arcade last night to play some video games. And her friend saw it and she goes, "Oh, is that one of those compass things?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Some of them have a whistle on it." And I was like, and when I first got it, I noticed there's this weird thing. I'm like, "Oh my God, it's a whistle." So if you get stuck, you can call for help.
That's great.
Isn't that cool? And you could possibly get stuck if you were mountain climbing around here, hiking, and your muscles gave out, right? And you were weak, right? And that's something that could happen. And so for my segue into what we're talking about collagen synthesis. Right? And how the importance of collagen it gets extreme for your body so you can have nice flexible joints. You can have good skin, hair, nail, and joint health as well as muscle health. It's very important for your muscles.
And digestion.
Well, that too. Yes, that's the one thing that I always forget because after we got the product, collagen, for a while, we were selling it. People were loving it. And one of the coolest reviews we got is that it really, really helped with this gentleman's digestion.
Yeah, and I was like, more than one. We've heard it 3 or 4 times.
Well, yeah, but that was the first one. And I was like, I didn't even think about that, but absolutely. Pretty cool.
Yeah. And so, when people think about collagen, they think about a protein, right? And in fact, the human body is a protein-making machine. We make about 100,000 different proteins, and they perform all different functions to create the human body. And collagen is the most prominent protein of all of those 100,000 proteins because it helps to make up our skin, which is our largest organ,
right,
and our nails, and also our connective tissue and our joints. So the connective tissue is ligaments and tendons and fascia, all are dependent on collagen to make the basis for it.
It's a lot of stuff, especially a lot of people don't realize that the skin is an organ and that it covering your whole body. It's got to be the largest one. And, the health of it is something that you don't think a lot about, especially if you're out here in Florida, you're out in the sun, it's always getting damaged and you need to repair. So to have something that can replace that is important. But as you get older, and you stop making as much collagen, right, naturally, like many other things, that deterioration can rapidly start to occur. Like you notice people who are older get those dark spots on their hands, and then they have folds in their nails. They start getting folds in their nails. Hair starts to thin. It's because you're not creating as much collagen as you age.
Yeah. So your body makes collagen. It's in your genetic code.
Right.
But you need to have the building blocks of collagen so that when the code in your DNA is expressed and it's time to make collagen, you have the substrates, you have the building blocks that are necessary.
It's like the blueprint. Once you get the blueprint made for a house, you got to order the stuff to build the house.
Got to have the lumber and the drywall and the roofing shingles.
Right.
And you also have to have fasteners.
Right.
You have to have nails and screws and the like.
Yeah, don't build a house without that.
Right. So it's the same with the production of collagen, where you can take in the building blocks of collagen, the peptides. So when people see that they are getting collagen peptides, they're getting those building blocks.
Right.
Now, once the building blocks are there, you also have to have the fasteners and other catalysts, like a person to actually hammer the nail.
Right.
And so what we've done is we created a unique combination of products that addresses all the aspects of the creation of collagen synthesis.
Yeah, it's our matrix. We like to call it.
It's a matrix.
It's actually a matrix of products.
And so if you think about it like a house, you have the lumber, you have the cinder blocks, etc. You have to have nails to hammer the lumber and fasten it together, and you have to have a person to provide the energy. In this case, you have to have metabolic enzymes. Enzymes are actually proteins themselves, and they act like glue to fasten the peptides together in a specific format that creates a collagen protein.
Right. So you're basically the peptides are the lumber, nails. You're looking at metabolic enzymes.
And the vitamin C acts like the person who's hammering the nail. It's a catalyst that facilitates the whole process.
That's a good way to put it.
So what we've done is we put together a combination of 3 products, which includes the peptides, it includes the vitamin C, and in our barley products, whether it is our heirloom barley or our gladiator barley, 2 different seed lines, they contain the metabolic enzymes that are necessary to put the collagen together.
Now, metabolic enzymes, you just mentioned, they're like the fasteners. They're proteins themselves. Naturally, do we get a lot of these? Do we create a lot of these? Or is this the type of thing that tapers off as we age as well?
Well, when you're young, you make a lot. But as you age, just as you make less collagen, you make less of these enzymes.
Right.
And so it's good to be able to take them in by mouth, just like you're taking in the peptides by mouth. It's the same exact thing.
Yeah, and one of the things I think a lot of people like, I know my wife uses these 2, and the thing that's nice is they're both powders. So you can actually, if you want, you can mix them together and take them that way. My wife actually likes putting this, and we've got recipes for making collagen matcha lattes. Yeah. And there's another one she called, I forget what it's called. It's like turmeric milk. It's got turmeric collagen, and it's in a tea. So there's recipes on boomerboost.com that'll actually give you some tips on how to use this. But I know that by using these 2 things specifically, it has definitely helped hair growth for her. Not that she didn't have a lot of hair, but it's a lot thicker and it grows a lot quicker. Thicker and quicker. That's a good phrase.
Yeah. So this combination of products that we're aware of, we don't know of any place else on the planet that you can get this.
No, that's why we were thinking this is a breakthrough matrix we've been able to kind of put together, because to get metabolic enzymes in that amount in another product, I don't even know if you could really find, was it like 4,000 compounds in just the barley alone.
Yes. And so the reason that it's available is that when you sprout a seed, in this case, a barley seed, it goes through a metamorphosis. And the first thing it does is it digests the protein that's in that seed and renders it into amino acids. And then the genetic code has in it the ability to make the enzymes that are necessary for the end of the sprouting process. So at the very end of the sprouting process, a blade of grass begins to emerge.
Right.
And that grass is made up of the amino acids and the metabolic enzymes that are gluing those amino acids together to make that blade of grass.
But they haven't been used yet.
That's correct. So when you sprout, if you can stop a sprout from sprouting before it becomes a blade of grass, you can capture those metabolic enzymes if you nutrient stabilize it.
Right.
So the process that's used in the creation of this barley is a sprouting technology, and then a technology that stops the sprouts from sprouting right at the right point. And then another process that stabilizes the nutrients so they don't deteriorate.
Right.
And then that material is dried and it's ground up in an old-fashioned stone grinding wheel into a fine powder that's dissolvable in water. And all those metabolic enzymes that are used to help make the protein to build the blade of grass are the same enzymes humans use to build proteins.
Wow.
And so we're able to ingest those plant enzymes and facilitate collagen synthesis.
And that's one of the most actually what Bob just said is probably the most unique thing about the barley itself. There's no other process that we know of. Actually, when I researched this, one of the hardest things to do is you can sprout stuff. Absolutely. You can sprout stuff here, you can sprout stuff there. But getting a uniform, consistent profile of nutrients, enzymes, minerals in those sprouts is near impossible.
Yeah.
And that's the secret process, proprietary process that our scientists in Canada have been able to perfect. Not just perfect, but even take to the next level.
And you can do sprouts on your own. You can buy a kit and make some sprouts and harvest it with a pair of scissors and eat it. You have to eat it right away. But you're not going to have the seed line from the time of the gladiators. You're not going to have an heirloom seed line that has the nutrients still present in it.
Right.
Modern day barley seeds have very little nutrition at all in them.
Well, that's because with industrial agriculture, there was genetic modifications to these things that, made them easier to grow, but then took away a lot of the benefit or the nutrients. The nutrients for the benefit.
That started happening around 1940.
Okay.
So you have to have a seed line prior to 1940. That's what they call an heirloom seed. It hasn't been modified.
Correct.
So this what the benefit is of all of this is now you can take your collagen peptides and take it with your barley and vitamin C, and now you have a protein building powerhouse because everything that you need is right there, regardless of what age you are. So the older you get, the less and less and less collagen and enzymes you make.
Right.
And so the older you are, the more important it is.
Right.
But it helps even with young people.
Well, one thing, not to interrupt you, but one of the things that one of our ambassadors for the brand, Ariane Andrews, uses, former WWE superstar, is this particular thing right here.
Yeah.
Because she's always working out. She's got to stay physically active. And the recovery time, it cuts down because of the antioxidants in the barley. Plus, it gives her the enzymes to build the collagen. And then again, you got the hammer guy up here, the catalyst, to make it even work faster. And actually, she was just talking to Christina the other day and was mentioning how she noticed how much more she's got to get her nails done.
Yeah,
because her nails grow so much faster, it's getting expensive.
Yeah,
because she has to get her nails done. She goes on TV, so they start getting gaps a lot quicker. She was so but it's good.
That it shows it's working. But even younger people, Raleigh, need to use products like this because our diet, the standard American diet, right? They call it the SAD diet. Is very sad.
It is sad.
It does not have the nutrients that you need in order to build collagen. So you can be depleting collagen even when you're young. And that's why the world of nutritional supplements and nutritional science is so important. The quality of the food that most people have the availability for is so poor that if you don't take supplements, you're going to be sick almost at any age. You'll be an underperforming child, an underperforming teenager if you're malnourished.
Yeah.
And Raleigh, one other thing we should say is if people are using the gladiator barley.
Yeah, this is important.
This is an important thing. Because the gladiator barley has a lot of amino acids and you have a lot of peptides that are acting like amino acids in the collagen powder. So if you take them both together and do the full dose, you won't be able to utilize all of that at the same time.
You'll waste
because your body can only handle a certain amount, each hour.
About how much is that?
Yeah, so it's about the equivalent of 20 grams of protein.
Now, does that change for a more active athlete?
Yes.
So a more active athlete might be okay with taking a little extra.
Yes.
But if you're an average person and you're just using it to build the joints or build the skin, hair, nail, and joints, you want to be careful. Definitely you can use them, but you might want to separate the protein intake by about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, so the best way really, I think, to do it if you're using the gladiator barley is mix up your drink in a blender bottle and drink half of it.
Okay.
And then drink the other half 2 hours later.
That's a lot simpler.
The easiest thing
That's a lot
to do instead of
figure it out.
Just
mix it up.
Drink half. 2 hours later, drink the other. And it doesn't have to be right at 2 hours. It's just that if you do it before 2 hours, you won't be able to absorb all that and make that much protein.
Right. And sometimes if you don't use that protein, it gets stored as fat if you don't use it sometimes too, right?
Yeah, it can. Not to a great extent.
Okay.
But it's just a waste, and your body has to process it out, which takes energy to process stuff out.
Gotcha.
And it just makes more sense to spread it out, right? The heirloom barley has only half the amount of amino acids, and you're okay drinking that together with the peptides at the same time.
Yeah. When we first originally designed it, we had just had it available with the heirloom because we didn't want to overload people. But then we started thinking about the MMA fighters and the athletes that are using it, and then the people who might need that extra protein, and it wouldn't be too much for them. So we decided to just recently add Gladiator as an option. So if you've seen this before and you were thinking, oh, I'd rather have it with Gladiator, well, now you can get it with Gladiator. But just be careful on the protein intake, space it out, do what Bob said, mix it up, drink some, about half. Wait 2 hours, drink the other half. And it'll give you some energy too, because the barley will give you energy later on in the morning or afternoon or whenever you take it again.
Yeah, and this is all really important because as people age, they start to make less collagen, and you also are going to make less of the proteins that build muscle. And what occurs is you start to lose muscle weight, and in addition, your connective tissue becomes less elastic and weaker.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you never pull a muscle or you need lots of muscle to lift something, when you age, you become more susceptible to injuries like a sprained ankle, like
losing your balance,
a problem with an Achilles tendon, etc. And you don't want that to happen, because if you sprain an ankle and you're older, or you tear your Achilles tendon because you have low level of collagen, it takes a long time to recover. You'll probably have some form of disability from it for the rest of your life, because it'll be even weaker if you have an injury.
Right.
And as you were saying, you could fall, and falling, especially when you're an older person, is devastating.
Especially if you break a hip.
Especially if you break your hip. There's some very frightening stats about that and how long people live after they break their hip. On average, it's not very long. And so you want to avoid that by having enough muscle, having enough collagen, so that your ligaments and your tendons and your fascia stays strong and supple, and your muscles stay strong, so that even if you're 85 or 90 years old, you can still be strong. And I'll give you an example, Raleigh. I knew a lady that was 85 years old, and this was probably 25 years ago. She was extremely conscious about eating a very healthy, organic diet, and she walked to my nursing home every day, 5 miles each way. Even in the wintertime, she did it in a pair of shorts and a short sleeve shirt.
Wow.
And she came to visit her 106-year-old mother.
Wow.
Who would come downstairs every day and sit in the living room of the nursing home and read the newspaper. And her daughter would come to visit when she wasn't out of the country hiking in the Himalayas or somewhere in Africa. And these were people that were living proof that you can be extremely strong and flexible and capable when you're 85 years old. I don't know what her mom was like when she was 85, but I know at 106, she was still going strong.
That's amazing.
And so with this type of a matrix, we know that people can retain that level of flexibility and strength, especially if you couple it with exercise. You will be like that woman. And for all I know, she's still alive.
That's awesome.
At the age of 105 or whatever.
Whatever she would be now.
Whatever she'd be now.
That's great.
There's a chance she's still hiking the Himalayas.
That's great.
But that's the importance of it, is you want to be that person who, when you get to be 85, you're as strong as you were when you were 20. And you can do that now.
Yes.
If you have the right matrix of supplements and you exercise regularly.
Absolutely. And, when we first put this together, just the last thing I'm going to say about it is we were thinking about a lot of the times people try to handle skin and hair stuff with topical treatments. Even joint pain, you put the Aspirin cream on and it's a temporary thing. And so we were thinking about, instead of trying to address these things from the outside, after the skin's already been created and damaged, if you give your body what it needs to create from within, your skin, hair, nail, and your connective tissues, then you're not necessarily treating it after it's been a problem. You're trying to repair from within and make it better. So that's kind of the whole idea of this skin, hair, nail, and joint health from within.
Right. I'll give you an example, Raleigh. There was, again, about, I would say 25, 30 years ago, there was a very well-known skincare company, which will remain nameless. And they knew that it was limited what they could do to help people just with topicals. And they created a second company specifically for the interior of the body to help skin.
Nice.
All right. And I won't say the name of it, but that was their design, was nutrition to help with skin. So they didn't have anything remotely close to what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
This is the real deal. This is actually advanced science, way beyond what they had 30 years ago. The availability of this type of sprouted barley seeds was not anywhere to be seen 30 years ago.
No, and that's the true breakthrough, is the ability to capture the amount of nutrients and compounds and metabolic enzymes needed to not just help with collagen production, but help with removal of inflammation, absorption of nutrients, which is another thing we'll talk about in another show, how important it is not just to take these in, but synthesize them and absorb them.
Yes, and also probably those other 100,000 proteins we're referring to.
Yes.
The barley helps with all of those as well.
Right.
It's not just with the collagen.
Exactly.
It helps to synthesize all 100,000 proteins.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's addressing your skin, your hair, your nails, your joints, your connective tissue,
your muscles.
But it's also affecting your muscles and every other protein that gets made in your body for every metabolic pathway that is known.
That would be why there's so many amazing testimonials at boomerboost.com about it.
It really benefits the whole body.
Yeah, I definitely welcome anybody who's watching or anybody who catches this on a replay to go check out some of those testimonials and see what we're talking about. We also at boomerboost.com have a lot of podcasts that talk about a few of the things and the topics we touched on today. Yeah. And so if you go in there and you search things like digestion, you'll find a bunch of great things on how to digest better. You'll find information on absorption of nutrients.
And
inflammation reduction.
Circulation.
All of it. Circulation, how to increase brain power. There's all these good things. And all this is based on protein creation and synthesis. So, but yeah, check it out. Boomerboost.com. I don't know if I have anything else to go over, Bob. Do you?
No, I think that's good for today, Raleigh.
Yeah. Oh, and I almost forgot to tell you guys, this thing we're talking about is called the Skin, Hair, Nail, and Joint Health Combo. Sorry, too many compounds.
Click on sale, or is it right when you go on the website?
If you go right on the website, it's right in the video hero. There's a big video at the top. It says Skin, Hair, Nail, and Joint Combo. Click here to go, and then you can go right and check it out. And you'll be able to, again, choose from heirloom or gladiator barley. It's normally, if you were to buy everything individual, it would be around $144, but it's $99 right now for all three. Well, choose heirloom or gladiator, collagen, and then vitamin C. Yeah. So it's a great thing to do. There's a lot of great reviews on there specifically about that combo and how it's helped. So go check it out, especially while it's on sale. It's a really good deal.
Thank you, Raleigh.
Absolutely, Bob. It was fun as usual.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Have a good one.